Hey, how's it going, nerds? Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and review of Daredevil, Marvel Legends. Let's get right into this. Taking a closer look at the packaging, we have our standard Marvel Legends style with the name of the particular wave along with the name of the character. On the side of the packaging, we get to see some artwork of Daredevil. On the back of the packaging, we get a bit more detail on Daredevil himself, as well as other Marvel Legends within this series. With that said, let's go ahead and jump right into this figure. At first glance, this figure is pretty solid. I'm really liking the paint apps overall. The style of it with the coloring is really well done. There are some touchy paint apps here and there, which we'll get into in a little bit, but overall it's pretty solid. The articulation is good, but I would have liked a little bit more, and again, we'll get a little more into that later on in the review, as well as talking about the accessories. Taking a deeper dive into articulation, there is a really good amount of neck articulation. We're able to get a good amount of swivel on the neck, which allows for some really cool poses. You can do a lot with Daredevil, which I really like. The ab crunch is pretty good, pretty standard, kind of your standard buck for Marvel Legends. The hip swivel is pretty good. Not entirely sold on the articulation in the arms. It's a little stiff. So that's an area that I would have liked a bit more. Along with the accessories here, they leave a bit to be desired. With the legs, you have a decent amount of articulation here. You got some ankle rockers, which are good. The paint apps look good as well, which we'll get into again a little bit more later into the review. Again, legs have good articulation, but they do take a bit of working to get them to kind of move the way that you want them to. The head sculpt is decent. I'm not really liking the paint app around his face. The eyes look cool and the horns look awesome, but I think this figure looks best from the side. So now we get into the paint apps on this figure. They are solid, as you can see from the back. Don't really see a lot of bleeding happening here. We have a little bit along the hip and a little bit along the thighs here, but overall pretty solid. We have a little bit of red bleeding into the brown. What I'm really liking is the detail along the side of the boots, which is pretty cool, the red dots here. Paint apps are pretty solid as we run through here. Not too much amount of bleeding. Same thing with the top, we have that detail along the side of the glove. The colors are pretty vibrant, and they work really well together. One big glaring one though is along the side of the neck. There's a lot of bleeding of some red there. The D along the chest is really well done. Some good paint app there, and it doesn't really get lost in the ab crunch, which is nice. Looking at a bit closer on the head sculpt again, we can see that it starts to look better and better as you get more into a side profile, which I think is the strongest area. The first accessories we have here are the billy clubs, which are okay. We also have a secondary head sculpt of Matt Murdock. Overall, this is a pretty cool Daredevil figure with a good amount of articulation and pretty good paint apps. There are some areas that could be improved with articulation, like in the arms and also in the legs. And there are some areas in the paint apps that I would have liked to have seen cleaned up a bit more. But I'm able to get Daredevil in some pretty cool poses, and it also would have been nice to have cooler accessories. Overall, this is a really cool figure that any Daredevil or Marvel Legends fan would enjoy to have in their collection. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date on my latest unboxings and reviews, hit that subscribe button. See you next time.